Hello and welcome to Health Talk. I'm Dr. Manny. Obesity rates nationwide continue to rise according to a new report from the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation and Trust for America's Health. The report, F as in fat, shows a continued trend towards a country with an unhealthy overweight population. These new figures are particularly shocking because only 20 years ago, not one single state had an obesity rate above 15%, and now currently all 50 are well above that mark. Join me today to discuss some of the root causes of this epidemic and what we need to do is Dr. Barry Sears, the founder of the Inflammation Research Foundation and the author of The Zone, very famous book. Welcome, sir.
Well, thank you very much.
You know, we did this, the report came out this past week and it clearly shows that America is completely overweight. And now the rates in almost every state is over 25%. Why is this happening?
Well, it's a lot more complex than we're led to believe. We think the people who gain weight are simply morally inferior if they can only eat less and exercise more. The obesity crisis is far more complex. It's all really about breakdowns of biological control systems. The reason they're gaining weight is because they're hungrier.
Right.
And until basically you curb that hunger, you're not going to solve this problem.
Is that because the American diet for the last, let's say, 25 years or so has changed dramatically?
It has changed dramatically. What's happening is Americans are becoming more inflamed. And really, there are two consequences of that. Is one, we're eating more vegetable oils, which are rich in omega-6 fatty acids, and more refined carbohydrates. And when those two combine, it's like adding kerosene to a fire. You get an explosion of inflammation, and all of a sudden, two things happen. You develop fat traps. That is, the calories go in the mouth, but they get trapped in your fat cells.
Right.
They can't be released. Ask any overweight person. They'll tell you. They're hungry from the moment they wake up to the moment they go to bed.
Right.
And the reason why? They can't access this stored energy because this inflammation in their bodies is stopping this completely.
So why the difference between the different states? Is it physical activity? What is it?
No, it's actually just the opposite. It's basically, it's all about dollars. The more poor you are, the more of your income goes to, disposable income goes to food. And therefore you make economically correct food decisions. How can I get the greatest number of calories with the least number of dollars? Well, your best bet is going to McDonald's. That is your best value. However, health-wise, it's going to pay a tremendous, collateral damage.
But when you look at a state like Colorado, Colorado is allegedly one of the least obese states. Is it because higher economic population, they're making better choices in food? Is that it?
Most definitely. It's a case that basically the people who are at the lower end of the economic level, and this is shown in the report, that people who had income under $15,000 a year were more massively obese than the average in the United States. It's really an economic factor.
So if we follow that logic, which makes a lot of sense to me, with this economic downturn that the country is having, and it's not going to get any better soon, we better then start thinking differently because it's just going to compound the problem.
Oh, no question about it. Bleak times are ahead. And what's even worse in that same report is that 1/3 of children are now overweight and obese. And what you're seeing here is really basically genetic programming in the womb that's basically making our children, before they're even born, predisposed to gain weight. That's why each generation is getting fatter and fatter and fatter. They don't want to wake up one day and get fat, but they say, something is happening, my genes are changing.
Okay, we need to help people out there. We need to reverse that inflammation. How do we do that? Give me some good suggestions that people can do right now.
Give you a real good one. Take every vegetable oil out of your cupboard and put it where the sun don't shine. Just throw it out. And what do you replace it with? Replace it with things like olive oil, slivered almonds, or guacamole. And right there you've done a #1 stage to reduce basically the genetic driving force of why we're gaining weight. Second thing, do what your grandmother told you. You eat more fruits and vegetables and you cut back the grains. I don't care if they're whole grains, refined grains, just cut back the grains. And the last thing, make sure you eat breakfast, the most important meal of the day. And make sure that every meal you have some protein. How much? The amount you can put in the palm of your hand. Follow those simple rules and you have a good chance of reversing this increasing epidemic of obesity and its fellow traveler, type 2 diabetes.
If I bring you here next year, where do you think we're going to be?
I'm afraid we're going to see those figures recorded by the Robert Wood Foundation getting larger.
Right.
I see what our healthcare crisis we have now is going to spiral out of control because the driver of our healthcare cost is diabetes, and that's exploding around us.
If folks need to get more information, where can they go?
I'd go to my website, zonediet.com.
Zonediet.com. So there you have it. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
You know, I hope that we would have a more cheerful. I'm usually pretty cheerful about about medicine health talks, but this one, it's a serious one, and you know.
But it can be reversed.
It can be reversed.
That's a good news.
That's a good news. All right, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And if you have any health questions, you can email me here at Fox at drmanny@foxnews.com. Thanks for watching. For Fox News, I'm Dr. Manny.